Welcome. You are tuned into Atmo Media, an information space where truth, analysis, and independent journalism come together to bring you what really matters. We work to ensure that Ukrainians in Austria and across Europe stay connected to their homeland and know the truth about what's happening in and beyond Ukraine. We also aim to deliver truthful information to our partners and allies in the European Union. Well then, here we are in this studio. The week has been wild, but we made it. And it's not just our achievement. Thanks to Petro Pogorelov for the design concept, True Special Magic. Alexei Zakharov for the lightning that brings this studio to life. And of course, a big shout out to our friends at Canon for their top-notch technical support, as always. All links are in the description. Check them out, show your appreciation, and support those who create with us. Now we are fully equipped, energized, and ready. Global affairs. The whole week has defined it by a new trend, Trump and Texas. And the first thing you need to know is Trump imposed tariff on Iceland inhabited only by penguins, real ones in tuxedos. No offshore accounts, no politics. We are talking about Heart and McDonald Islands, Australian territories, uninhabited by humans, but home for some serious birds. And now these penguins apparently have to pay 10% tariffs on exports. Of what exactly, no one knows. Maybe on cold air, maybe on style. American officials explained. No one was excluded because otherwise someone would seriously hide something between these icebergs. Officially, it's about fighting smuggling. Unofficially, it's about fighting logic. Australia is confused. Penguins are shocked. And rumor has it, even fish may get taxed soon. Our advice? Stop buying American products, at least in short term. And let us know in some comments, are you sure you are not accidentally buying Russian ones? Now to the vital and serious security. In Germany, a new government has finally been formed. And this could truly be a horrific turning point, not just for Germany, but for the whole of Europe. The conservative CDU bloc and Social Democrats have reached a coalition agreement. The new chancellor will be Friedrich Merz, an experienced political who clearly understands the world can no longer afford to be naive when it comes to security. Merz has stated his position clearly. Russia is a threat. Ukraine is a key partner. Foreign policy must be part of domestic policy. And this is what sets the new government apart. Germany is no longer a passive observer. It's returning as an active player on the geopolitical stage. In the coalition agreement, Ukraine for the first time called a strategic partner and a pillar of European security. This is not a diplomatic gesture. It's a shift in mindset. Ukraine is no longer just a recipient of aid. It's now shaping policy. What else does the coalition promise? Increased defense spending, digital transformation, and investment in AI. A new approach to migration, tougher foreign policy, especially toward autocracies. And all this is happening at a time when Europe faces major challenges. A trade war with the US, pressure from China, the rise of populist forces within Europe itself. For Ukraine, this is a window for opportunity. For the first time at this level, it's not been seen as a victim, but as a partner. And now, both sides must make sure not to miss this moment. During the coalition talks in Germany, the parties have already agreed on future responsibilities. CDU will take over key areas like internal affairs and foreign policy. The Social Democrats will focus on finance and defense. This division of responsibilities shows how the parties are trying to maintain balance and take charge of the most critical areas. It is an important step toward forming a fully functioning government. Peru renames Russian embassy street in solidarity with Ukraine. In Peru, the street where the Russian embassy is located has been renamed as a sign of solidarity with Ukraine. The new address of the Russian embassy is now Free Ukraine Street. This move is a part of global initiative to rename streets near Russian embassies in support of Ukraine. Similar changes have already taken place in Albania, Lithuania, and Latvia, where streets have been renamed Heroes of Ukraine Street and Independent Ukraine Street. What Russia is doing has long crossed every line. Kryvyi Rih, April 4th. A Russian missile struck residential area. 20 people were killed. 9 of them were children. The youngest, Timothy, was just 3 years and 9 months old. He was returning home from the playground with his grandmother. He died in the hospital. 7-year-old Irina died in a car with her grandfather. They were coming back from their country house. 9-year-old Herman was on a swing. Alina and Danilo, both 15, were buried side by side. These children were simply living, but a few seconds of Russian war crime changed everything. We will never forget, and we will never forgive. New investigation in Germany. Germany has launched a new investigation. 4 attacks committed by migrants ahead of the elections may not have been a coincidence. At least that's what German intelligence believes. They suspect that Russia may have been behind it. According to the Telegraph, this could have involved attempts to recruit mentally unstable or radicalized asylum seekers. The goal to destabilize the country before elections. And of course, to boost the pro-Russian party, Alternative for Germany, which has struggling at the time. German intelligence services are now confirming these suspicions. This is a classic Kremlin playbook. Destabilize the country from within, sow fear, and lift up their political allies. Russia isn't only fighting on trenches, it's fighting in Europe too, through panic, propaganda, and politics. And right now, this hybrid war is entering a new phase.
I voted for Trump because I thought that his racist policies were only going to negatively affect those black and those brown people. I didn't realize he was also sexist and classist and was going to make working conditions for the average American worker more difficult, or put small agricultural farmers out of business, or not let women work in the federal government. I didn't realize that making the world unlivable for some would eventually affect me. Oh, you didn't realize? But it was fine, so long as those black and those brown people were suffering. Okay.
People were told it's all their fault, the others, and promised Trump will fix everything. Even when he changed nothing, they kept believing, because the desire for easy answers and a convenient enemy is stronger than the logic. This isn't about facts, it's about emotions, fear, hope, anger. And that's what populism feeds on, not just in America. One question remains: are you looking for the truth or just someone to blame? In the 1930s, the US drastically raised tariffs on more than 20,000 imported goods. This was the Swiss-Holy Tariff Act, meant to protect the domestic market. But the consequences were disastrous. International trade collapsed. The world entered the Great Depression. Millions of people lost their jobs. In Germany, the economic crisis paved in the way for Hitler's rise of power. This became part of the chain of events that led to World War II. Today, we are hearing more and more calls for economic protectionism, but history shows isolationism and tariffs can be far more dangerous than they seem. Protests against Trump's policies are growing across America. Mass protests against Trump are sweeping across the United States. The Heads Off movement has united millions. People are speaking out against cuts of social programs, Elon Musk's policies and threats to democracy. Protests took place in 50 states. The authorities responded with new laws limiting the right to protest. This is their largest civil resistance since Trump's return to the political stage. Even his own allies, including Elon Musk, congresspeople, billionaires, and influencers, are now speaking out against his policies. And this seems to be just the beginning. Russia preparing for a new wave of escalation, according to the Ukrainian president's office. Moscow is planning to increase its army by another 150,000 soldiers. This isn't just another wave of mobilization, it's the formation of full-fledged offensive units. According to Pavlov Policia, preparations are already underway. Although this entire reserve won't be sent to the front lines at once, Ukraine expects increased attacks in certain areas. Russian troops continue to advance, slowly but persistently. The enemy is probing for weak spots, trying to break through our defenses. Despite its losses, Russia isn't stopping its goal to exhaust Ukraine and force concessions. This isn't just frontline news, it's a warning. Ukraine must brace for difficult weeks ahead. And the world must understand the war continues and it's entering a new phase. Fake news again. Never happened before and now it has. Russians pretending to be Ukrainians. In December, a troupe called Ballet of Ukraine toured Sweden with performances of Nutcracker in 8 cities. It turned out they had nothing to do with Ukraine. The organizers is Russian, the Kiev addresses was fake, the dancers were from St. Petersburg. Even the materials were copied from the Moscow Ballet. In fact, it was a Russian tool disguised as Ukrainian art. This is yet another example of how Russia uses disinformation, even in culture, to profit from the war and mislead the world. Russia has 2 presidents now, Putin and now Navalnaya. She's now asking to be addressed as a president of Russia, reports The Guardian. Ukrposhta responded immediately. Madam President, why did you almost bomb 2 of our post offices in just 2 days? Is that your inauguration? Honestly, what else is there to say? A president is not a sandwich. Fake news in social media. Pages like Invincible People on Facebook pretend to be patriotic, but in reality they spread disinformation and clickbait. They create panic, doubt in victory, discreditation of armed forces. Their goal are emotional exhaustion and ad revenue. These messages play into the enemy's hands. Always check your sources. Don't fall for provocation. Media hygiene is form of defense too. Culture. Ukrainian theater is rising. Even during war, Ukrainian theater is experiencing a revival. Modern performances are drawing full houses. Audiences are lining up. The stage has become a space of strength, resistance, and unity. Here is a selection of productions and troupes sharing their new face on Ukrainian theater. Kotlovan, Dach Center of Contemporary Arts. Director Vlad Troitsky. Stalkers, Left Bank Theater. Director Stas Zhirkov. Molfar, a mystical drama with elements of ethnic music. Wild Theater, independent productions with no taboos. Post-play theater, performances in bomb shelters, direct dialogue with audiences. Theater of Displaced, documentary stories of people who lost their homes. This isn't just theater, it is the voice of a country that is fighting and refuses to surrender. Share in the comments which plays you have seen and which ones move you the most. That's all for now. Support Ukrainian content, like this video, share it, subscribe to Atmo Media. Don't forget to follow our Instagram, where we have even more content, events, and the voice of Ukraine abroad. Мені здається, що це кінець, надо ще раз.